Namaste friends, this is a video on how to approach Hanumanasana or splits pose safely. So to move into this posture, we have to have a lot of viram, a lot of strength, a lot of courage to make these leaps of Hanuman, the monkey god, whose tail is Kundalini Shakti, whose heart is the expansion of prana, of life force energy throughout the universe. So let's start at the front of the mat, hands at the heart center. We'll chant Om together, exhaling out completely, inhaling deeply. Om. For this practice, you may like to have 2 blocks, a bolster, perhaps some blankets. Let's inhale, expand up through the arms. Exhale, come down and forward, and walk the legs out to the back. We'll come into downward facing dog to begin. Widening through the scapula, rounding through the heels, allowing the shoulders to come up by the ears so the scapula do not root down the back. But we protect the head of the humerus in the glenoid cavity by widening through the scapula. Long, deep Ujjayi breath here. If you like to, you can begin to pulse, drawing the chest down and up, feeling the floating ribs moving back up into space, hollowing through the lower belly. And drawing your feet up and underneath your hips, feet hip distance apart. Draw the chest down over the thighs, clasp the hands behind the back, roll the shoulders back. Draw the pinky fingers up towards the back of the head. Release the arms and the tailbone down. Firm through the buttocks, lift through the lower belly. Inhale, the arms up and out to this nice, wide, deep Uttanasana. Finding the strength through our legs. Applying our Ujjayi breath now, and throughout our practice, inhale up. Exhale, hands down by the sides. Feet hip distance apart, inhale, the arms up. Take your palms, fingertips together. And lengthen into this vessel mudra. Fingertips touching, feet rooting down. Turn sideways on the mat. Feet out wide. Big toes inside the heels. Prasarita stance. Hands to the sides of the waist. Draw the floating ribs back. Float through the lower belly. Articulate the shoulders. Exhale, down and forward. Our first variation, walk the arms way out in front. Fingertips down, hips slung back, weight into the heels, chin down to the chest. Second variation, clasp the hands behind the back, articulate the shoulders down the back, lift the pinky fingers up towards the back of the head. Breathe the floating ribs back. Draw the chest down. Release the arms down, hands to the ankles, the mat, or peace sign fingers around the big toes. Again, floating the floating ribs up, widening through the shoulders, drawing the chest up. Release the toes, turn the left toes out, walk the hands down and around over to the left side, to the inside of this left foot. This, perhaps you'd like a block here. Lift up on the back right toes, roll the right hip point forward, and then inhale, pulse up, squeezing the inner thighs, rounding through the back. Exhale, lengthen down and open through the inner groin, heart center, lift it 2 more times. Last time. Now draw this right foot up underneath, toes pointing forward. Right heel begins to ground down to the back mat. Left heel pulls back, and you might like a block here. Up on the fingertips or onto the block. Spread through the left toes. And I want you to lengthen up and out through the sides of the waist. Back of the neck, long. Gently release down, draw the chest down and around, back to the Prasarita stance, hands underneath the shoulders, elbows drawn back. Rotate the right toes out, walk the hands around to the inside of the right foot, lift up through the back left heel, hands onto the block or onto the mat. Inhale, squeeze the inner thighs, lift through the lower belly, pulse the back upward. Exhale, open through the inner groin. Inhale, draw up and in. Squeeze the inner thighs, hollow through the lower belly. Exhale, open. One more time. Draw the left foot up underneath, ground through the left heel, fingertips onto the mat or onto the block, lengthen through the sides of the waist, stabilize, strengthen, root. And gently release, roll the right toes in, roll the left toes in, draw the thumbs to the outside of the waist, inhale up, hands around the sides of the waist, walk the feet in towards each other, stand forward at the front of the mat. Bend the knees, squeeze the inner thighs, lift up through the lower belly, inhale up, Uttanasana. Exhale, down and forward. Uttanasana, we'll move through Surya Namaskar B. Inhale up, exhale, legs out to the back, Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Swings forward. Exhale, downward facing dog. And turn out through the left toes. As you exhale, right foot comes through. Bend into the right knee, pull the head of the right femur back, inhale up, Virabhadrasana 1. So finding that strength, courage to open the heart, we root into the legs, exhale, fingertips to the mat, through the vinyasa, or back to downward facing dog. And turn out through the right toes. Exhale, left foot comes through, bend into the left knee, roll the right inner thigh in, tailbone down, inhale, expand out. Feel the wings of the heart expand as the feet ground down. Exhaling, fingertips to the mat, left foot meets the right. Inhaling up, exhaling down. Inhale, draw your feet up underneath your hips, expand through your heart. Exhale, release down, bend the knees. Take the tailbone down, inhale, expand up, Uttanasana. Exhale, Asana. Other side. Inhale, Uttanasana. Exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, Chaturanga. Inhale, Ardha Mukha Svanasana, gaze to the third eye. Exhale, Adho Mukha Svanasana, focus on the navel. And turn out through the right toes. Exhale, left foot comes through. We're going to vary here. Tailbone down, inhale, up. Widening through the heart, clasp the hands behind the back. Roll the scapula down the back, lift through the heart center, inhale. Exhale, chest down onto this left leg. Just to the inside, fingertips up towards the back of the neck. Spread through the front toes. Opening the gateway at the back of the heart. Exhale, fingertips down through the vinyasa. Or back to downward facing dog. Left toes turns out, right foot comes through. Ground into the left heel, pull the head of the right femur back, inhale up. Clasp the hands behind the back. Articulate the shoulders, press into the back heel. Inhale, expand through the heart. Exhale, down and forward on top of this leg. And fingertips down to the mat, through the vinyasa. Or back to downward facing dog. Inhale, draw your feet up underneath your hips, expand through your heart. Exhale, release down, bend the knees, squeeze the inner thighs, inhale, up. Uttanasana. Exhale, Asana. Come back to the Prasarita stance. Lengthen through the sides of the waist. Draw the scapula down the back. Inhale, forward. Walk your hands around over this to the inside of the left foot. Right knee down onto the mat. Here we're going to move the left foot out, toe, heel, toe, and make sure that the left knee is over the midline of the left foot. From here, fingertips down, flip the floating ribs back in space, hollow the lower belly, see how the right toes are tucked under. Find this here and then open through the inner groin, supported by the back of the body. Right hand out wide, or onto a block, or down to the elbow. Press into the left big toe, find space underneath the right armpit, flex this back left foot. From here, inhale, take the left arm up towards the sky. Lift arm up towards the sky, rotate the palm up to articulate the shoulder, thumb back, and then place the palm down and bring the hand back to the heel. Press hand into the heel. So if you're pressing down, slapping something, find this opening here supported by the lower belly, and then wrap the hand around the foot. I like the palm to the inside. Palm to the inside, fingers to the outside, then press, kick the foot back into the hand, and then draw the heel in towards the buttock. Keep hollowing the rib cage up and back. See how we come up here, and then open through the inner groin, pressing through the left heel. Making sure the hand is in a comfortable position. And then you're over the kneecap so there's no pain on the knee. Gently release. Draw the left foot back up and in, fingertips down, lift up through the back right heel. Spin around to Prasarita, finding this opening, this length through the hamstrings. That's going to serve us later in our practice. Walk around to the right foot. Bend the right knee, left knee down onto the mat. Walk the right foot out, toe turn out, but not on the pinky toe edge. Just turn out, check the knee is over second and third toes. Fingertips down, hollow through the lower belly, float the floating ribs back, then open through the inner groin. Then here, left fingertips down onto the mat or left elbow. Now if the hand won't reach around to the back heel, that's fine. Inhale up, hands to the lower back or just up into the twist. If we can, flex the back knee. First rotate the palm up, thumb down, then rotate the palm down and bring the hand back to the heel, pressing down into the heel. Find this, engaging the posterior chain. Then wrap the hand around the foot, hollow up through the lower belly, open through the inner groin, and draw the heel in towards the buttock. Be aware that the foot is strong, so the ankle isn't sickled. Gently release. Hands down to the mat, right toes forward, lift up on back, left heel, rotate around, Prasarita stance again. Fingers to the big toes, draw the chest down and forward. Thumbs to the front of the waist, fingers behind, inhale up to standing. Draw the feet together. Stand forward at the front of the mat. We may like a block. Inhale, draw the right foot back behind, toes turn out. Press down through the left big toe. Draw the chest down and forward. And then from here, you can use the block. Draw the left toes up off the mat so you gum the left heel into the mat. Hollow through the lower belly, place the left foot back down. Right hand onto the mat, onto a block, or all the way to the outside of the left pinky toe edge. Pull the head of the left femur back, lengthen underneath the right rib cage, then draw the left shoulder back and inhale up. Parivrtta, Hanumanasana. Exhale, release the hands down to the mat. Optionally through a vinyasa if you like, or back to downward facing dog. Inhale, draw the feet up underneath the hips, expand through the heart. Exhale, release down. Inhale up to standing. Exhale, hands down by the sides. Take the left foot out behind you, straighten through the right knee. Lengthen through the sides of the waist and draw the chest down. And over again, you can have a block here to the inside of the right foot. Peel the right toes, gum the right heel down. Then rotate externally through the right hip, place the right foot back down onto the mat. Left hand down to the inside of the right foot, or all the way out to the outside of the right foot. Press into the back left heel, lengthen through the left side of the waist. Inhale from here, articulate the right shoulder down the back, and then expand up and out. Exhaling fingertips down to the mat, through the vinyasa, or back to downward facing dog. Let's come all the way down onto our belly for a moment. Place the forehead onto the mat, place the hands behind you, palms down, draw the shoulders away from the mat. Hollow through the lower belly. Extend the tailbone down towards the heels. Inhale, lift the legs, draw the chest up, pulling the shoulders away from the mat. Back of the neck long, heart center lifting. Exhale down, now really igniting the back of the body, the posterior chain, bend the knees. Squeeze the inner thighs in, hollow through the lower belly. Draw the shoulders away from the mat, reach the hands back to the heels, but don't make a clasp near lumbar. Dhanurasana, inhale, lift through the chest. Exhale, release down. Hands underneath the shoulders, releasing to a child's pose. Rolling up through the spine, let's move into this great leap of Hanuman. You might like a bolster, or you might like 2 blankets. I'm going to show you the variation with 2 blankets. It's very comfortable to me. You might need a bolster with several blankets on it. So from here, right knee in front of the blanket, I'm going to take the left foot on top, left leg on top with the foot flexed. And I may also like 2 blocks here. And if this feels like a lot, I just stay right here, lengthening through the back of the hamstring on the left side. If I'd like to go further, blocks come forward or hands forward. I'm going to tuck under this back right toe, roll the right hip point forward, and begin to open through the inner groin, not all the way, but just a bit. Now, check out this right heel. If it's lilting to the side, I drop back up towards the sky, hollow the lower belly, float the floating ribs back, then place the knee down, then draw the hands back and begin to open through the inner groin. If this doesn't feel like enough stretch, go down lower. If it feels like too much stretch, go up higher. Hands can be pressing into the blocks to take the weight off of the inner groin and this back heel up towards the sky. If you need to tuck the heel under again, roll the right hip point forward, release the toes. And then, if it works for you, inhale the arms up and wide, fingertips together. Vessel mudra or sphere mudra. Heart center expanding. Exhale, hands down to the blocks. Remember, it is a journey, not a destination. And remembering that enlightenment does not equal a pull to groin muscle, releasing to a child's pose. Roll up onto the knees. Other side. And again, you could use a bolster, you could use more than 1 blanket. Right foot forward, left knee behind the blanket. Weight into the blocks, tuck the back left toes, lift up through the back knee. Slide the inner groin forward, place the knee back down, but check out, is my heel lilting to the outside? Can I drop back up to the midline and then roll this left hip point forward? Draw the blocks back, release the toes, settle down as far as feels comfortable. Rest into the breath. And then if it feels comfortable, if it doesn't, don't. Begin to lift the hands up off the blocks. Fingertips together. This great, heroic, courageous leap of faith. This expansion of the heart. And as you're ready, release. Hands to the blocks, knees down onto the mat, chest down onto the thighs, releasing to a child's pose. We'll roll up through the spine and come around onto our back before we take a shavasana. Knees into the chest, rocking side to side. Place the feet out as wide as the mat and drop the knees down to the right side. So feet are wide, knees are bent. Press into your back left heel and rotate your head back towards the left hand. Inhale your knees to the center. Exhale, drop the knees down and over to the left side. Press into your back right heel. Rotate your head back towards your right hand. Inhale the knees to the center. Now, take your left knee, cross it over your right, legs hanging down. And then draw both knees down and over to the right side. If it feels comfortable, take this back left hand and reach down to the bottom foot. If that pinches your lower back, don't do it. Then take your top left leg and extend it out. Right hand can rest on top of the left hip or all the way down to the outside of the right foot. Roll your left shoulder down to the mat and rotate through your head. Gently release, other side. Take your right knee, cross it over your left. Bring both knees down and over to the left side. Right hand reaches back around behind you to the bottom foot if that's comfortable. And then you're going to straighten through the top left leg. Left hand can come down to the pinky toe edge of this top foot or to the thigh. Articulate your right shoulder back down to the mat and rotate through your head. Inhale, releasing back to the center, knees into the chest, rocking side to side. Let's come now into our Shavasana, legs extended out long, palms out. Feeling the breath move at the heart center, the seat of prana. Draw your knees in towards your chest. Rock side to side and then roll over onto your right side. Slowly make your way up to seated, finding yourself in a cross-legged position or on your knees. Take your hands and move them to Mushti Mudra, thumbs outside of the fists into the belly, actualizing your strength, your will, your self-esteem and courage. Place your hands at your heart center in Anjali Mudra and dedicate any merit you've received from your practice to another being. And we'll chant Om and Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Exhaling out completely. Inhaling deeply. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Namaste, my friends.